This is the Jillian Grace Show, Vibrational Architect. I teach the discipline of redesigning the internal patterns that shape your love, your relationships, and the life you quietly know you were meant to live. Whether you're moving through familiar emotional cycles or you're a high achiever who senses there's more available to you, you're in the right place. This is where people learn to master the architecture of their lives and release the patterns holding them back from their inner blueprint. Each episode ends with a guided transmission to anchor the vibration we're working with so you can fully step into becoming the architect of your own life. Join me, Jillian Grace, as we pull back the layers and rebuild the vibration you were always meant to live from. Hello and welcome to the Jillian Grace Show. On this episode, we are going to talk about the dawn of a new era when it comes to influencing and when it comes to someone who has got power and integrity, because that is shifting. We are seeing for the first time as a collective this shift in what we believe values are. It's no longer this consumerism type world. It's no longer this, the more you financially have, the more influence that you are going to be able to yield. That is all shifting. And in this new landscape, we are going to find out that the architect of influence and who you are is actually what's going to draw people in deeper. So take a deep breath, take a seat. This is going to be an amazing opportunity for you to expand into the new frequencies that are coming in and to deeply understand how align your vibration with where we are headed and what is going to be the new authentic, new architecture of how to influence. So today's episode is different because it's not about healing, it's not about relationships, and it's not about emotional survival. It's about power, the clean kind, the kind that doesn't dominate, it doesn't manipulate, it doesn't perform, the kind that makes people stop, lean in, and listen. This episode is all about the architecture of influence and how to become someone that people listen to. Because influence isn't charisma. It's not confidence. It's not volume. It's not expertise. It's not your bank account. Influence is an architecture. It's a structure that you build inside yourself that changes the way people experience you and feel you. And once you understand that structure, you can build it on purpose. Your influence begins before you even say one word. And this is what people don't understand. In this new era, everyone has become much more aware of what's fake and real. And we really have AI to thank for that because that's attuning us to look deeper, to be able to see something and say, okay, how does this feel to me? Wait a second, this doesn't feel right. So you investigate it further. That's going on in our daily interactions as well. Most people think influence is all about what you say, and it's not. It begins with this pre-verbal layer, this energetic, psychological, and behavioral sign that you broadcast before a single word even leaves your mouth. People decide whether to listen to you based on your presence, your internal clarity, your emotional neutrality, your self-respect, your energetic boundaries. Influence is not loud, it's felt. It's based on how true to yourself and how authentic you are. This is the difference between someone who walks into a room hoping to be accepted and someone who walks into the room already anchored in who they are. Influence is identity, not performance. So there's three pillars of natural influence that really start to trigger the right vibration in any certain area, atmosphere, room, group, anything that you enter into. First is holding energetic authority. This is an internal posture that says, I trust myself. People don't follow confidence, they follow self-trust. And this is where we've had that mixed up for a long time. We've pushed confidence, which has ended up pushing the ego out. And in this new era, everyone is done with that egoic way of thinking and feeling. Yes, are there still pockets of people that are lost in that? Absolutely. But their long-term ability to hold on to that and also feel good about themselves in their life is going to start dropping so quickly if it hasn't already. And we're seeing this everywhere. Energetic authority is built through clean boundaries, emotional steadiness, non-reaction, clarity of intention. When you trust your own voice, people instinctively trust it too. The other aspect is your cognitive precision. Influential people think clearly. They speak clearly. They follow their own advice. They follow what they say. They're authentic. They don't ramble. They don't over explain. They don't dilute their message. Precision creates authority. When your language is sharp, your presence becomes sharp. And of course, emotional containment. This is the ability to hold your own emotional experience without leaking it onto others. People listen to those who feel grounded, not those who feel chaotic. Containment is not suppression, it's self governance. So, influence requires to be a little bit of an adult in your emotions and have a lot of self reflection about your experiences and what you think occurred in your life that could have affected you, in owning those experiences so you can walk through that with lessons learned and move forward. This is the era of vibration, and it's why fake personas are collapsing all around us. We're entering an entirely new era, an era of vibration, coherence, and energetic transparency. And people becoming aware of that also know what's acutely fake. Influencers used to be about performance, now it's about frequency. People can feel when someone is performing confidence, when someone's manufacturing their own charisma, when they're drinking to create a personality. And I see this a lot. And this has sort of been the reasoning for why we've seen such a shift away from people drinking alcohol, because it's creating a fake personality. So when you are interacting with people, you aren't your true self, and therefore you don't really make a deeper connection. And the world and our energy and our collective is craving that depth. People can tell if you're curating a personality instead of embodying a self. They can tell if you're projecting an identity that you don't live. And here's the one truth that no one says out loud: fake personas are collapsing all over the place. Not because people are becoming more judgmental, because people are becoming more energetically sensitive and direct in living from the heart. We're living in a time where authenticity is detectable. Incoherence is obvious. Emotional leakage is loud. And energetic misalignment is impossible to hide. You can't drink your way into a personality anymore. You can't curate your way into an influence. You can't posture your way to respect. People feel the gap between those who are and those who are pretending to be. And that gap is where influence dies. This is a new era that demands energetic congruence in your words, in your presence, your choices, your identity. All of those have to be aligned in the same direction. People aren't just watching, they're feeling. Influence is no longer about being impressive. It's about being integrated. People will listen to your frequency when it matches your message. They tune out the moment they sense performance. And this is why so many loud people are trying to use their impact, and so many grounded, self respecting, internally coherent people are rising. We are moving towards a collective frequency where truth is magnetic, clarity is rare, groundedness is power, and authenticity is currency. The era of fake person, the era of being fake is ending, and the era of being a coherent human has begun. And if you want people to listen to you, then you must become someone who's energetically real, not perfect, not polished, not performative, just real. Because in this new vibration, real is the only thing that's going to resonate. So let's take a look at the reasons why people might not be listening to you, or you might notice that you're being shut out, or you don't feel like you're connected when you're around people, and how they perceive you when you are in interactions, because that's what people are doing. They're feeling you. And there's certain things that people do when they aren't truly connected with the choices that they're making or with the message that they have. And these invisible habits can make people tune you out in a heartbeat. One is over explaining. When you justify yourself, you signify insecurity. Insecurity breaks influence. So if you are standing having a description about something that you're very passionate about, and then you keep explaining yourself to prove your point, that's actually going to make it seem like you aren't sure of your point. Think about it like this. If you walk into a room and there's a book on the table, you can point to the book and say, there's the book. You confidently know that. Whoever is in that room is going to look at that table, see that book, and agree. But if you say, oh, that kind of looks like a book, Hmm, I'm going to have to open it up and take a look. Well, inside and you start to give all these different descriptions, that it makes it seem like you're unsure of something that you should be sure about. And that's going to shift the way people perceive you. Emotional leakage is another one. When your tone, pacing, or energy communicates anxiety, resentment, or desperation, people disconnect automatically. And this happens a lot when people drink alcohol. They start to become extremely anxious or they start to go overly into whatever personality they want to be. And it becomes very detectable when someone is not being their true emotional self. And that starts to shift other people's feelings away from the person who is in front of them because they don't truly feel like they're having a real interaction. Because, in all honesty, if you aren't your real self, then that's not a true interaction. So it's hard to be able to be authentic when you're altering your state of consciousness. Next is identity shrinking. When you soften who you are in the truth to avoid judgment, people can feel that collapse and they stop taking you seriously. I can be the strongest example of this throughout my entire career. It has not always been socially acceptable to talk about energy and vibration, and I've been doing it for 25 years, probably longer. I've been doing it professionally for 25 years. So, what I've experienced in my quest is that especially in the beginning, it was very much a taboo topic. Not a lot of people understood it. So I would try to formulate what I was doing in different words so that people could connect with it. And in doing so, it almost sounded like it was confusing and people weren't sure of the exact direction. So it took time and it took a lot of awareness on my behalf to finally begin to stand in my truth and to finally explain I will help you work on your vibration. My objective is to make sure that you are giving out the frequency that you want to return. And as the world has evolved and gotten even deeper into understanding those things from a science background and from a lot of different bases, there has been a huge shift in how I'm able to articulate my work. So, for anybody, shrinking your identity is not the answer. This authentic world we're stepping into needs your identity. So, the absolute last thing you should do is try to pretend you're something you're not or dumb down what you are. People will feel that and they will turn away. Another one is speaking from your wounds instead of your wisdom. People don't follow pain, they follow clarity. So if you are walking around talking about how you are this way because of A, B, C, and D in your childhood, or this situation that happened to you in your life, you are going to find that people step away from that because our wounds are things that we have to learn from. They're aspects of ourselves that we've chosen to experience to create more power from within. And as soon as you see that authentic aspect of yourself starts to awaken and you are able to step into it more clearly. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the architecture of influence. So, influence has structure, it's layers, it has an architecture. And once you understand the blueprint of that architecture, you can build it intentionally. So, layer one is identity. First, influence begins with who you believe you are. If you don't respect yourself, then the people that you're surrounded by, the audience you're talking with, they won't either. So, you have to become clear about who you are and how you want to proceed. That is the first way to build that base layer of that architecture in who you want to show and the type of authenticity you want to have exude from you. Second is intention. People feel your motive before they hear your message. So if your intention is clear, your influence is clean. So if you are focused on making the world a better place, as a broad example, then people are going to feel that that's where you're coming from. But if you're just repeating it because you saw it as a quote on social media, then people are going to also feel that. And they're not going to listen or feel inclined to stay connected with you much after a first conversation because they can feel that lack of authenticity, that lack of dedication within you. Next is your posture. So, this is the nonverbal architecture of your influence. Your stillness, your pacing, your tone, your breath, your presence. People listen to those who are anchored. So when you are talking to someone, I want you to think of your posture and how you're standing and how it conveys, or if you were to see someone standing that way, what it would be showing about that individual. Step into your power. Put your shoulders back. Ground your feet into the ground. Keep your mind open. Keep your energy open. Those are all ways of being able to make that energetic posture work for you as you build these architectural layers of your own authentic self. Next is your language. So, influential language is precise, it's direct, it's grounded, it's unambiguous. You don't need to be specific, you need to be clear. So when you do talk, pay attention. Are you using a lot of filler words? Do you sound like you're clear, or do you sound like you're powerful in the words that you're speaking? If you aren't, then that's also going to convey to the other person you're talking with that you don't have those layers within you. And that's going to make it so that influence becomes lessened. So standing in that truth and also speaking it in your language is important. And last but not least, influence is not about volume. It's the ability to speak from your center, not your edges. So you don't have to outspeak other people in the room. You don't have to speak louder than everyone else. You don't have to do those things in order to make someone listen. When you're confident, sometimes it's about just hearing, just sitting back. That's silence. That's power. So step into it and be prepared to allow it to move forward. So, as a recap, how to become someone that people listen to and feel is authentic. First, slow your pace. Fast talking signals insecurity. Slow signals authority. Shorten your sentences. Long sentences dilute power. Short sentences land. Remove your qualifiers. Stop saying words like I think, maybe, I'm not sure, but. Speak from clarity, not from apology. Hold eye contact without intensity. Influence is calm and not aggressive. Now, we've all heard how important eye contact is, and there's energetic reasons for that. When you look at someone in the eyes, you can read a lot about them. It's where their soul sits. So, if you are looking into someone's eyes, it's a very powerful way of connecting with someone. The rule of thumb in an interaction is to try to look at someone's eyes about 75% of the time during the conversation. You don't want to stare directly at them and make them uncomfortable. So, glancing away, glancing at them, glancing up, all of those things are normal, but you want to stay engaged about 75% of the time, holding that eye contact so that the other individual feels that connection and you do as well. Next, don't rush to fill silence. Silence is where authority breeds. Let the moment just be. Don't try to keep it filled or entertained. Don't try to move on with more information. Allow it to just exist. Next, speak last. Leaders don't compete for airtime, they anchor the room. So sit back, listen, let people speak, and then step in and allow your true self to show. Last but not least, speak from your center, not your wounds. Influence requires emotional neutrality. It requires you to have the perspective of understanding where growth was enabled, where you were able to get more powerful. You were able to understand what you experienced for the value it was worth, learn from it, and grow. All of those things are going to be amazing tips to help you exude the power and become someone people will listen to as we step into this new influence of authenticity on our planet. Last, I always take an opportunity to provide everyone with a guided transmission at the end of each episode. These transmissions are designed to ignite those powerful things that we talk about in each episode. And they take that energy and they put it into vibration and allow you to align with it. So I'm going to invite you to find a quiet place, have a seat, close your eyes, and join me as we move through this transition. And join me as we move through this transmission. Take a slow breath in and let your whole body exhale. Let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw unclench. Let your breath drop lower into your body. You don't have to perform here. You don't have to hold anything up. You don't have to be impressive. Just be present. Take another breath in and feel your awareness settle into the center of your chest, the place where your truth lives. As you breathe, imagine your energy gathering back to you. Every piece of yourself you scattered today, every moment you overextended, every place you shrank or stretched to fit, call it all back to you. You don't have to force it, just allow it. Feel your energy returning to its rightful place inside your body, inside your center, inside your authority. Now imagine a quiet, steady light in the middle of your chest. Not dramatic, not explosive, just a clean, grounded glow. This is your coherence. This is your truth. This is the version of you that doesn't perform. It doesn't chase. It doesn't collapse. Breathe into that light and feel it expand just long enough to fill your ribcage. This is the frequency people feel when you speak from your center. This is the energy that makes others listen without you trying. This is the architecture of influence, built from the inside out. Take one more slow breath in, and on the exhale, let your whole system soften into alignment. You are here. You are present. You are coherent. You are your authentic self, and you are enough. When you're ready, gently open your eyes or lift your gaze and carry this grounded clarity with you into whatever comes next throughout your day. Thank you so much for taking the opportunity to spend your time with me and expand in your vibration. My name is Jillian Grace, and I will chat with you next week. Let this episode settle into your system. And if someone in your life is moving through their own patterns or stepping into their next level, send this episode to them. The vibration you're integrating becomes stronger when it's shared. And if you feel called, liking the show or leaving a review helps this work to reach people who are meant to find it. I'm Jillian Grace, and I'll meet you in the next episode as we keep rebuilding the blueprint that you were always meant to live from.